All right, you guys. So this one was a interesting week. It's just been an eventful week, I guess. Like training has been, it hasn't been too bad. It's just like towards the end of the week, like the 2 days that I was actually going to record, I ended up having some pretty lousy sessions, energy wise at the gym, especially when I went to deadlift. To give you some context, last week I hit 180 kilos for 3 reps on my deadlift, and then this session I hit 175 and felt absolutely just in all sorts after that one pull. I feel like I could have gone for one more, but my head was just spinning all over the place and I just felt like absolute trash. Squat session, honestly, like a bit similar, just everything was feeling a little bit off, but not every session that you're going to have is going to be a good one. I would love them to be, obviously, but it's just not the way the cookie crumbles. So, I think I was overdue to have a bad session. Everything else, had like up until this point has been really, really good, really enjoyable. Been loving training, but yeah, I was just feeling like in all sorts. Towards the end of this week, especially. I even had a nap after my deadlift session. I only did like a couple lighter sets on my deadlifts as well. I didn't even really have like a full on heavy session. I didn't even record like the deadlifts. I mean, I was going to, but everything was feeling a little bit off in the lead up, and then obviously I wasn't going to record like 175 kilos because I was feeling like I was going to go for like a max triple again this week, and that just didn't happen. So you win some, you lose some. I'll definitely be back again next Saturday to try and hit some decent numbers on my deadlift again. I got a new weightlifting belt as well because my one, I managed to break it. So that just kind of added to the woes of the end of this week, to be honest. But onwards and upwards, try not to focus on all of the negatives coming out of this week, And yeah, I ended up, kind of pulling my finger out and just recording the end of this pull day, pretty much just like my curling, when I moved on to my dumbbell curls, my barbell curls on the easy bar, and then onto my rope curls as well. So pretty mediocre session. Like I mentioned before, definitely was far from productive, but I managed to just kind of get in and go through the motions and everything, and just really just do what I can. Decided to indulge in a lot of pizza this week at a social gathering as well. Managed to put on a little bit of weight as well, so that wasn't really ideal, but obviously I kind of just decided that I owed it to myself, or I kind of just did it to make myself feel a little bit better about the session, and then I guess it kind of did. Even though I ended up putting on like 1.5 kilos, overnight, pretty much, to give you some kind of context of how much food I was eating. But, to kind of rectify that, I'll just end up crash dieting next week and try to bring my body weight as close to 70 kilos as I physically can. Going forward, however, obviously, like I won't be indulging a whole lot more in the next like couple of weeks. I do want to kind of get to a low body fat percentage as quickly as I can over the next 5 weeks, and then try to maintain that for realistically, like I would say, like at least 3 or 4 weeks, because like I've mentioned in a couple of previous videos, I just want to see how long I can realistically maintain a low body fat percentage for future competitions, especially if I'm competing in multiple shows that could realistically be weeks apart. I want to be able to go into it confidently, knowing that I can peak and sustain a very low body fat percentage for I wouldn't say indefinite time periods, but we'll go with uncomfortable amounts of time, because going from one show to the next can be very, very taxing on your body. So I would like to know that I can physically and mentally actually go through with it, rather than going through the whole process and then just having it all kind of fall apart, after one show, or you know, if there's like a month between like competitions, then I don't want to kind of go in with the anxiety thinking that my physique's just going to fall apart between the competitions. So it's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment. A lot of people may not understand kind of why, you know, you would want to get into such a low body fat percentage range without having the intention to compete. But like I said as well, it also gives me a good foundation and baseline for my bulking phase next year going forward. And then I want to keep my body weight, or sorry, my body fat percentage as low as physically possible, and not go through what, you know, everyone just assumes, you know, you go through a bulking phase and then you just end up putting on shitloads of weight, shitloads of fat, and that is far from what I wanted to do. I mean, I've done it. I mean, we've all been there when it comes to bulking, you know, you just kind of eat everything in sight. My first 2 bulks, I really pretty much did that and got really, really fat. Even earlier this year, I was starting to do let's call it what do you even call it? an unnecessary bulking phase where I just try to put on an unrealistic amount of weight in a short period of time, when in reality, looking back on it now, I just kind of wanted to eat like 4,000 calories a day. Granted, there was granted they were clean calories. It wasn't like I was just eating like shit every single day, but I just thought it would be, you know, I guess kind of more enjoyable to be eating a shitload of food every single day. But realistically, when it comes to eating that much clean food every single day for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's like, for me personally, I just found it mentally exhausting, like more exhausting than going through a deficit and a real strict cutting phase. So yeah, I don't really want to go through that again. I want to go through a very, very slow lean bulk phase next year, and then yeah, set myself up nicely for the year after that in the early season, or like the A season of competitions, and then compete in ideally multiple comps. So that's going to wrap up the video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any kind of ideas for content and maybe even information that you want to see me include in these future videos, let me know in the comments down below. And until then, guys, I'll see you in the next one.